The Defense Headquarters has been reacting to Sunday's clash between the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and the military, the army, beg your pardon, in Umuahia, Abia State. The Director, Defense Information, Major General John Enenche, has dismissed claims that the army was test driving their armored personnel carrier. He is also disappointed at the way social media users have been feeding the public with what he describes as false information.
Those were just on their normal operation, patrolling. And some chaps, if I will use that, who were later identified to be IPOB members, came to, block the road and said they shouldn't pass. How? And they denied them access. And it was peaceful, and they started throwing stones at them. Missiles. When I mean missiles, stones and things that are hard objects, to the extent of, injuring a soldier on his head, and then they passed out by one lady. And that was what happened. And of course, it did not even escalate to what they pasted on the internet. When they positioned, they went and photoshopped a picture of people that were in a range-like position, and then firing against IPOB flags. It is rather unfortunate. I was contacted directly, and I was in touch with them, and that is what is the situation. When things like this happen, people can come out with various things. I'm not saying that the police did not give you, a version of what they understood or what they were giving, but I'm now telling that what happened is that it is a normal, like you referred me to Operation Python Dance, Python Dance is a normal routine exercise. And of course, nobody will just sit down and then, look at, carry out your normal exercise, which was the normal exercise of Python Dance. And that was what happened. So it was not like specifically we are testing armor personnel carrier or whatever. We didn't just acquire armor personnel carriers. We have it and we have been using them. So it was not, if it was something expected and, looked at from that angle, they would have gone out to their combat camera and captured it.
IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, however, is insisting that the intention of the military was to terrorize and scare his people. He told journalists today at his home in Abia State that there is no reason why the Army's armored vehicle should be in front of his father's gate if there was no intention to cause mayhem.
This whole incident happened right here. They drove from that way with their blaring sirens that woke me up from my siesta I was having in the afternoon. And they went that way to that junction. They reversed, the ammo tank reversed and came back here. Wanted to come in. And my men stopped them here. And they started firing at people. Right at this very spot. Check here on the window of my bedroom and to the front gate of my father's compound. Firing live ammunition to scare people, to terrorize people in this very peaceful village, in this very peaceful town. That is what Nigeria is doing, and the world must know about it.
I'm going to toss it over now to Ibrahim Adra in Abuja, who has more on the news at 10. Hi, Ibrahim.
Hey, Amarachi, good to see you. Now, as part of moves to ensure a more united Nigeria, the president is asking traditional rulers to caution their subjects against acts capable of destabilizing the nation. President Muhammadu Buhari, who was addressing members of the National Council of Traditional Rulers in Abuja, emphasized the importance of strengthening the resolve of the people to live together. He also asked the monarchs to prevail on the state governors to pay up the salaries of the workers in their states.
When we secure Nigeria, we have to secure its resources. Please continue to pacify your people, to tell them to please think of themselves and their neighbors and their states as all Nigerians. Let us continue to bear with your people. Those who stand for election, we know our limitations. We have to continue to strengthen our constitution, to strengthen the resolve of our people to live together, to work together. We are lucky last year and this year, the rainy season is good. If it were not good, I would confide in you that I was deciding to which country shall I run to. I would like to convince you that I'm living with the problem of this country day by day, and mostly of ordinary people. There are Nigerians that haven't been paid for 6 months. There are Nigerians that have been paid their retirement benefit for years. I appeal to the governors. That's why we voted money, we borrowed money. Please make sure anybody under you, if he's working, he depends on the salary to pay rent, to hold his family, to look education, health care.
And in another development, the Joint Action Committee of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities today began a nationwide industrial action to press home their demands to the federal government. The striking unions are the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, NASU, the National Association of Academic Technologists, NAAT, and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU. The federal government had scheduled a meeting with them today, but the meeting could not hold. Their demands, which among other things include payment of allowances, are not different from that of striking university lecturers.
It's the first day of the industrial action called by the Joint Action Committee, made up of Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities, NASU, the National Association of Academic Technologists, NAT, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU. They have all come under one voice to make their demands known. What they are asking for is not different from that of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Compliance to the stay-at-home order is almost total on the first day. The ongoing ASU strike at universities nationwide has reduced the population of students at the University of Lagos, and now non-academic staff are joining in the train. They say the strike will be total.
We have over 3 or 4 years now that the government are yet to pay us. We are talking of arrears and implementation. So we want the federal government to implement this money, these allowances.
Members of the Joint Action Committee at the Osun State University in Osogbo, after an early morning meeting, embarked on a door-to-door check to ensure total compliance. And at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, union leaders gathered members to intimate them on the essence of the strike before asking them to leave the premises.
The essence of today's Congress is to declare total, comprehensive and indefinite strike until federal government sits and implements all our 2009 agreement.
In the South-South region, leaders of the Joint Action Committee at the University of Benin in Edo State also gathered to discuss the nationwide strike. And the story is no different at the Bayelsa State University in Yenagoa, where members are resolute on their demands and do not see any reason to have another prolonged dialogue with government, since they have always done that in the past. Offices and classrooms are under lock and key at the University of Calabar in Cross River State, even though the institute's main gates are left open. The union members were rising from a meeting when Channels Television arrived.
The strike is total, and it means total, because the union have followed due process to get the problem solved, and government is adamant.
Moving up north, the University of Jos in Plateau State, only one of the institution's gates is open. The union members, just like their colleagues from other parts of the country, are not ready to return to work until they have a contrary directive.
And now to Kaduna State, where at least 4 people, including an army officer, have been killed by suspected armed robbers operating along the Kaduna-Birnin-Gwari road. The spokesman for the Kaduna State Police Command, Mukhtar Aliyu, confirmed to our correspondent on telephone that the incident happened at about 10:30 on Sunday morning. According to Mr. Aliyu, an 18-seater passenger bus traveling from Kaduna to Kwara State ran into the armed bandits near Palwaya village in Birnungwari local government area. On sighting the robbers, the driver attempted to evade them, but they opened fire on the vehicle, killing the army officer and the 3 others in the bus. The PPRO says security operatives had to clear the road after it was blocked for some hours, while those who were injured have been transferred to the state capital for treatment.
Beyond the shores in South Africa, the outcome of the post-mortem examination of the body of 35-year-old Clement Kanu, who died in police custody last Tuesday, has ruled out assault as cause of death. A spokesperson for the South African Independent Police Investigative Directorate, Moses Dlamini, told our Johannesburg Bureau Chief Betty Dibia in Pretoria that a toxicology report is still being expected on the contents of his stomach at the point of death.
The meeting did indeed take place, but there were no officials from the Nigerian mission present. The meeting proper was off camera, and present were the president of the Nigerian Union South Africa, Adetola Olubajo, the IPID investigating officer in this case, Tulani Magakule, IPID's provincial chief, Felicia Nchangase, and national spokesperson, Moses Dlamini. Before the meeting, we asked Mr. Dlamini about the autopsy report.
At this stage, we don't have any conclusion as to the cause of death, but assault or any bodily injury is ruled out.
As part of the allegations, we understand that plastic bag, like in some of the other cases we've heard, were placed. Of course, during the postmortem, you wouldn't see evidence of that. Is it something you've heard as well, you've come across?
No, but we will follow up on any information that is there. If there are witnesses who allege that they witnessed assault, they witnessed that is a form of torture, of course they must come forward so that we can investigate that part.
Now, just give us the implication of this. No sign of physical evidence of assault. Then a toxicology report takes time, sometimes years. So what is the implication of this? Nobody will be held accountable for this death.
At this stage of the investigation, I can say the outcome, or rather the cause of the death, is not yet conclusive to a point where you can then say this or that person should be held accountable.
The Nigerian Union president found the meeting quite engaging and is hopeful for a just conclusion of the case, but he has an appeal.
The only thing I would say is just that we need to encourage our people to come out, because without physical witness, they may not be able to pursue the case.
Some witnesses we spoke to are indeed afraid to come forward. They allege intimidation not just from police, but fellow Nigerians as well. For this case to go much further, the accounts of eyewitnesses are imperative, but what may be standing in the way of that are allegations of intimidation, and not just of prospective witnesses. From the IPID headquarters in Pretoria, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.